So let's go into forms and we're going to take a look at those field sets one more time. They are so important to get this right. So we're going to open this up and look to make sure that those field sets have the correct names to them. So when I go in, field is what I want to look at and help you. We've talked about this earlier. So that's something I'm going to look at specifically when I'm doing the flow. And the next thing is the values. This is where you'll find the values all in lowercase, no spaces, no fancy things. And now each time that I click one of these, you can see that I've populated these out for each one of these field sets. If you find when you're testing it out on your website and it's not lighting up, chances are you have put in one of the fields and it's been outside of the field set. That's usually why it goes wrong. So let's go in and check our website and make sure that these field sets that we've put in are actually working. So sometimes when you go into the website, you've got to make sure that you get the preview because you won't be able to see these forms that you've just put in place. So I've had that experience before. Make sure that you hit preview. And there you go. So the form here is on the right-hand side. It's tied to my booker, my calendar. And if I tap the calendar, choose a date. And then I'm going to choose the start time and confirm. So that's the calendar doing its job. Now here is where your form is doing its job. So I'm going to click on this variable and Wedding Centerpiece lights up and all of the information I need for that is there. Make and sip, same deal. So those are all working. Kids' birthday party. Yes. So all of these are working. Festivals working. Yes. If you want to upload files, make sure that you just choose file in your form and that will work. If you choose image, I found that that does not work. So just a little tip. So my page is working fine. My form's working fine. And now let's go to flows. What you want to do is there's a flow default one in here already. Make a copy of this. And the copy is the two boxes on the right-hand side. And I've already gone in, made my copy. See that? Make a duplicate there. And then use the pencil. And in order to rename this copy so that it's relevant to you, on the right-hand side, you'll see the 3 bars in blue. You go ahead and tap the 3 bars on the right-hand side in blue. There I go. And I just hit the pencil. And I'm going to rename this to the Maker's Station opt-in form, opt-in flow. I want to make sure I make forms and flows different. Flow is kind of what happens after the customer's filled out your form. So form is before the customer has really worked with you. Lookup Contact, this is terrific. This is to prevent duplication of records. So you can say email or phone. And if any of those match, then they do a merge with the old contact that's in there. Okay, so this random root split test, very important because you could do so many things in here. You can split based on percentages. Maybe 90% of people get a 10% discount and 10% get a 50%. You could do something like that here. But right now, I want to do variables based on my form that I just did with those field sets. So I'm going to use that form that has the information that I want, and Make and Sip Party Sign Up is the form. How can we help you? That's the field. And look, they're all pre-populated for me based on all of those variables that I typed in. And the thing I was a little panicked about is on the left-hand side, if you look, it had only 3, but it pre-populates with all 4 of my selections. So don't worry if you've got more than 3, it's okay. It'll pre-populate it for you. And now what I want to look at is I could send email. I could text this customer to say, hey, noticed you filled out a form. Here's my calendar. Let's get on the calendar and talk about what you'd like to do for your party. I mean, you could do that in here, which is great. And later on, when we have GutClick's AI agents coming in, you could even have an AI agent book this calendar for you. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So right now, I'm just going to keep it easy. Email, next steps for your birthday party. This email is coming from Sarah at the Maker Station. And because you're doing the 7-day trial, you might not have your emails all set up yet. So just leave it as default email inbox. And that's fine. And I can put the contact information in here as I go. So as I scroll down, if I want to edit this email, which I do, I'm going to click the purple box and click edit. And I'll put something brilliant in here like, hey, really excited for the birthday party coming up next week. Gosh, what's your name? So I want to make sure that I customize the name. And each customization, there's a drop-down arrow. Just click on that, and it will give you all of these selections that you can choose. Right now, I just want to look for the first name of the contact. So that's at the very bottom. I'm going to grab that, and then I'm going to write something brilliant, I'm sure. We're so excited to be coming to your birthday party. Here's a link to get on my calendar. This is what's going to happen once we're all set up. I'll send an invoice and contact to reserve the date, a contract, I should say, to reserve the date. And here's my booker. And yes, I'm going to go into my calendar and I'm going to create a booker. Now, if you want to make these emails fancy, yes, you can. There's a visual email builder, so you can do a WYSIWYG here and click and drag the components of what you want for your email. You can certainly do that. Me, I like to just keep it easy. I find that just sending a text is fine because right now, this low in the sales funnel, I know they want to party. They just want to know what's next. You know, they want to get going on this. So now what I can do that I've got the email, I'm happy with this, is I just duplicate it. I right click on it and I can connect it first so that it's in the flow. And then I'm going to right click and hit duplicate. And there's my next email. And I connect by clicking and dragging from each one of those components at the top. I'm going to duplicate again. And if you make a mistake, which I'm about to, it lands in the wrong spot. So I just click and drag it to make sure that I've messed up. And yes, I did. And I'm just simply going to click that red X and close it. It'll say, are you sure? I'll be like, yep. And I'm just going to right click, duplicate again, click and drag it into position. And there you go. And then click and drag to connect those two components. So this is what I like to do is I just like to have all of my emails set up and I know what they're connecting to. And then when everything's connected, I'm going to make sure all the emails link to the deactivation at the bottom to finish the flow. That's very important. And yes, you can go into settings if you wanted a timer. There's also a timer that works a whole bunch better in the data links and the logic on the left-hand side. So that might be something that you want to do. I'm going to edit all of my subject lines and my emails. So each one of these emails, I'm just going to go in and edit the emails so that they reflect each one of those. Now, what do I do with this customer after they've received this information? Well, I'm going to go into tags because I want each one of these customers to be tagged correctly. Because if I want to send kids projects to the kids party people in the future, that might attract them to another party because they see a project that might be interesting for their child. So I want to tag it with kids. If there's a paint and sip, I want to send that to the make and sip people who might be interested in maybe a partnership that I have with one of the local wine cellars that's here in the area. So weddings, another thing, maybe what's hot for weddings, what's interesting for centerpieces. So all of these tags are going to be really important for me to keep these people in my list, keep them interested so that they know, oh, I know the right person to talk to if I'm looking for a fun bachelorette party, or I'm looking for a kids party, or I am looking for an attraction at my festival. So this is really important to make sure that I tag all of these people in each and every one of my emails that goes out. Where does that tag end up? It ends up in your client relationship management system, the CRM system. So if I wanted to blast all of the parents, I just choose that tag, and I know that kids party is only going to go to my kids party people. If it's tagged wedding, I know it's going to go to my wedding centerpiece party people. So that's how it all works. And that's your flow. You're ready to go. So let's take the next steps.